Hey everybody, this is Chris. I'm out in our primary Squatch zone. A few weeks ago, we were standing roughly where I'm standing now, and there was a Sasquatch actually sitting in the place where we've been calling the Sasquatch camp. So what happened is Karen and I and her daughter Jessa came walking from back there. There's a little trail. And we saw something straight back that way. We can't really try to zoom in. And right in there, we could see a dark shape and a head bobbing up and down. And I was moving, so I wasn't sure if it was my movement that was making it look like it was bobbing up and down or what. But Karen was pretty positive. So I told her to stand right here and don't take your eyes off of it. And I was going to go around and flush whatever it is out, at least make it move so we could know for sure. And it turned out to be more spectacular than what we ever imagined. So what happened, she stayed here and started clicking pictures with her phone, even though it was getting late and the sun was going down and the light wasn't really good. But you know, this is an opportunity. And when I get back there, you'll see that there's some logs lying horizontal like a fence, and I thought whatever it was on the other side of the logs. So what happened is I decided to, like I said, go try to flesh it out. So I walked around these trees here, and as I did so, it stood up, took a couple steps, or probably one step, paused, looked at Karen as she continued to take photos, and then took about 3 strides and was gone back into the woods back there. So I'll show you, just trying to recreate what happened. So to get over there, I went around these trees here, which took me, as you can see, it blocked my view with those 2 trees. And by the time I got to the path here, she was telling me it had moved. So I don't know how smart it was. I came back here. Here's the first structure. If you haven't seen previous videos, you need to go back and look. It's like Scary Ice Squatch Investigation Part 2. These were all placed here. None of these trees belong here. The purpose of this is yet to be determined. If you watch the video, I bring up some theories and such, but anyway, back to the story. I came back to here. Here we go. It was probably sitting on this log here. It'd be much larger than I am, and it was kind of doing one of these, looking over towards us. And then it stood up. I'm going to raise the camera as high as I can. Won't even match how high it is. Stopped right here. and then took off. Behind here. Like I said, taking me like 10 steps to get here. It just booked. I think probably followed this. There's a little trail here now, which oddly wasn't like this earlier in the summer, and probably took off. And there's a trail back there. I'm thinking took that back, which is a scene of other videos. If you want, really ought to go look at those. I mean, this is the real deal, folks. We've got the pictures, and we're trying to get them cleaned up a little bit so the big guy will pop out some more. Here's a structure thing. I called it a shelter, for lack of a better term. And this whole thing is a complex. And there's a piece of, I actually put that piece of quartz there. It's a piece of white quartz from North Carolina, near where I used to squatch out there in Uwharrie National Forest. Another great place to look if you're ever out that way. But this is just a fascinating spot here. I mean, the first time I found it, I've been calling it a Squatch camp, because I mean, you have the shelter, purpose unknown, but there it is. I mean, give me another term and I'll call it that. I'll back up a little bit so you can see it better. And it's actually been like, there's things have been added to it since we first found it, and the branches that are over here. There was more right here. I don't know why. Maybe for better camouflage from a certain direction. But here, look at the size of these logs. They've just been laid here. I mean, granted, some of this is natural, but I mean, you have these are huge logs. I don't care who you are. These are humongous logs put together, put basically one right on top of another. I'll back up. That large one placed right there to create a sort of fence area. Back here, another line of defense, or whatever you would call it. I don't know if you can see it, trying to block the sun a little bit here. And then if you go straight back that way, I've been back there. There's a shelter right there, and as you go back further in that direction, there's another shelter in that direction. So you got two shelters, one that way, another one's basically right there. Then you've got the deadfall brush, so we're making a triangular area where you can, come looking at it now, you could stand there. Path leading off that way. Then you have this shelter. And that structure right over there. I mean, all this stuff, I'm standing in one place. I mean, if it weren't for the trees, I could see all of these things. I mean, just amazing. It's just one thing on top of another. Plus you have that down large pine tree creating a barrier that way. And that's actually the source of the material for this shelter. And I'll show you before you even get, coming from the way I came, before you even get here, here's this. Before you even get here, and right here, right up here, ducking. Break and a lean. So you come from here's a break and a lean, and then right back here is all this stuff. I mean, look at this. I can block the sun again, my hand, but just massive in one. So you got the break and the lean over there. You've got this structure. I mean, it's what I'm thinking is this is probably for camouflage. I mean, it's random, and that's the kind of thing that makes a good camouflage. It breaks up your form, especially at night, let me tell you. And you have this. And this wall, fence area. I know I'm being redundant, but just want to. It's just so amazing. Very strategic. Very. I mean, it's been here for a while, and this area hasn't been open to the public for the last 40 years. Yeah, and so what amazes me is this is about, I've been calling a Sasquatch camp, and you know, never find any prints, never find any hairs. I've left a bag of apples on the shelter there. One time I just sort of laid it up there and the whole bag disappeared. Second time I hooked it on a branch. I kind of stabbed the bag with a branch, and you could see it's one of those you know, shopping, the kind of plastic bags you get the apples in a grocery store. Just stuffed it in there, and so it had holes in it. So you can see where one of the holes was enlarged, like something put a finger in it, and the rest looked like the hand had kind of, I mean, it looks like somebody just grabbed it and pulled down on the bag to dump the apples out. It was pretty cool. And then, what's crazy, another thing that's crazy, is a while back, I sat right here and did a live Facebook thing for Sasquatchology. Interesting group, recommend it highly. And I was talking about some ideas about Sasquatch, and talking about there could be one right behind me now. I mean, that's how crazy and wild this place is. And then, lo and behold, we see a Sasquatch sitting basically in the same spot I had been sitting, and where I am now sitting. That just amazes me, and it's really exciting. For any of you who think it might have been a person, I'm gonna grab a stick so I can show you, because I'm like 5.5 on a good day. So I'm gonna grab a stick, and you can see in the video I lined it up so that it was about the size, about as tall as this knot right here that I can't even reach with this stick. So here's a stick, and the top of this knot on this tree here, hopefully you can see that the sun's not bugging it too much, and I can't even reach, and so it was that high. Okay, so it was as tall as these branches here. There's my hand. So that's another like good, at least 3 feet up. Like I said, higher. I mean, it was. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know anyone that tall. And it's just crazy. So that's, I think, 4 individuals that we've seen just in this area. And I'm not going to tell you exactly where I am, but it's not very far from civilization. So once again, if there's anybody who's watching this who wants to do some squatching, you really don't have to go very far, believe me. And this is the most amazing squatch zone I've ever been in, and probably as good or better than any I've ever heard of. We're having a lot of fun, learning a lot. We actually even, like I said, seen some. So we're just having a blast, and I hope you're enjoying our videos. And be sure to subscribe, and happy squatching, everybody. Thanks for joining me.